I do a lot for you guys, I've noticed. Like, I literally nearly ran over a snake so I could film this episode with you guys, so I could go to my regular parking lot. Yes, I did call a snake catcher. Yes, that snake is fine. I don't know what his name is. I don't know what to call him. He's just Mr. Snake. He's fine. I always have something going in my life with these episodes. Like, I had a huntsman. If you don't know what a huntsman looks like, this is what one looks like. Very scary. I had him in my car for probably 2 episodes, and he's now gone. Man, when I said I wanted to be famous, not like this. Fuck me. I hate spiders. No, I did not hurt him. I just flipped him out of the car with a stick because I did not want him living in my car for free, and I did not want to be terrified of, like, coming into my car every time I had to go into my car. So he's now gone, thankfully, and hopefully for the future. I know next year I'm going to have another huntsman in my car. It seems very, like, normal that this happens quite a lot. Also, I don't know why my camera does this, where it takes in a lot of light and then I pull back and it, like, makes me really dark. It's really weird. Anyway, today's episode we're going to be talking about loneliness and how I feel like we humans have been conditioned to fear loneliness, and I guess the social pressure of loneliness, and how I feel like we need to have like 3 months in a row of just not having any friends so we can actually, like, understand and not be so afraid of being alone and doing things alone, I feel like. I'm not sure about you guys. I was someone that got heavily bullied, right? I also was very lonely. I had no friends at some points in, like, my high school, because I went to, like, multiple different schools, and I remember there were times where, like, I literally ate in the bathrooms alone because I was so scared of how people would perceive me, because I was, like, the only new kid that went to that school that was by myself. Like, I had made friends, not really made friends, I had sort of made acquaintances with other kids that were also new, but, like, I didn't fit in, and the people that I was in I was put in the class with, they didn't really want to include me or anything. And so I had spent, like, most of that, like, 6 months I was at that school, like, incredibly lonely and just miserable, to the point that my, like, anxiety and everything just, like, tremendously, like, suffered. Like, my anxiety and my social anxiety just got so much worse because of how lonely I was at that school and how excluded I felt, which I had never experienced at other schools. Like, at other schools, like, I had friends. Sometimes I also only had a couple of friends, but most of the time I wasn't excluded to the point where, like, no one helped me. But at that school, like, no one did. And I feel like it's one of those things where you have to get used to being alone. And I feel like if you do not like being alone, you will literally have terrible relationships, or you will have terrible friendships where you can't seem to, like, get rid of them or shake them off because you are so scared of being alone and by yourself. And I remember, like, that time was probably the loneliest I'd ever felt, besides probably, I would say, like, my early adulthood. But that was, like, the most memorable, because that's when, like, everything just, like, started happening. Like, all of my mental issues just started to spawn at that age where I was 15 and I was at a new school with, like, no one. And I remember being so lonely. It was terrible. And that, like, affected me throughout. Like, I had a fear of going to, like, events, going to, like, parties, going to, like, just anywhere where I was not comfortable, or I didn't know anyone that I could stick, like, by their side 24/7 during that event or that party, because I did not want to have to stay in the corner by myself and be perceived as, like, a loser. And I also had really bad, like, social anxiety where I didn't like talking to people in general. Like, I had turned down so many birthday parties because I did not want to be alone, if that made sense. Like, I was friends with that person, but I wasn't super close with them that I could, like, just, like, stick by their side the entire party. But, like, at the same time, that was the only person that I knew. All their other friends, like, I wasn't friends with, so, like, I had turned them down because I didn't want to be alone and have to interact with new people, because I was so scared of how I'd be perceived by those people. It was, like, insane. And I think I only really got over that fear probably around last year, I would say, and that was because I had started trade school, right? Like, I'm in my 3rd year, so maybe not last year, maybe the year before that, and I had come to the conclusion of, I'm most likely going to be alone at trade school. I'm just going to have to get over it, and it doesn't really matter how I'm perceived, because I'm just going to have to get over it eventually. And I have literally someone walking by my car. It feels really weird. I don't like this. I want to go home. You can see him, he walked past. Oh my god. Sorry. I film in a very populated parking lot. Also, my camera's about to freeze. Sorry, I'm back. I just had to turn off my camera because it was starting to overheat. So I love that for me. But I film in a very, as I was saying, I film in a very populated like parking lot, and this is for me to one, also film these episodes because I like filming them in my car with you guys, and two, so I can actually get over my social anxiety and actually have people look at me, because I eventually want to make vlogs and stuff like that in public, but I get so anxious of people looking at me while I'm filming that it terrifies me. So I thought that a good like compromise would be literally me doing this. So we're currently doing that. That's what we always do. But I feel like as humans we don't like being alone, and also the social construct of like if you're alone, like you're kind of a loser. People always view it as that, and they view it in such a sad way that it's very, very hard to like get over like the social construct of it and just the social anxiety of it. And as I was saying though, I feel like a lot of the times I only recently got over it somewhat. I still don't like doing certain things in public, and that's more of a social like anxiety sort of thing, where I think sometimes this year I might start doing like small little social challenges where I have to like talk to people in public and stuff like that. For like, I'll do like it as like YouTube videos to sort of get over like my fear. Same thing as I'll probably start doing vlogs where like I'll do going alone to the cinema for the day, and I'll just show that doing stuff alone isn't as scary as it seems. So, but yeah, like I think we need to start getting used to being alone. We need to have a period in our time where we are just by ourselves. We have no one, and we are just alone in our thoughts and in our actions and activities that we do, so we can at least get used to the fact that like we're not always going to be with someone. And I feel like the pressure of like you have to always be with someone, or you have to, it's only fun, or you only have value if you are doing something or doing anything just with anyone, is kind of not a good thing to have, because I feel like a lot of times people stay in really toxic friendships and relationships because they don't want to be alone. They are scared of being alone. People are scared of dying, so they will often like get into relationships when they're older so that they have someone, so they're not dying alone or whatever. And I feel like that is not a good thing to have, because you end up like just seeking the first person that can provide you, I guess, some like solace, or like just so you're not alone. Like they give you something, and sometimes they're just not even good people. Half the time, the people that you end up seeking because you are so desperate to not be alone often end up like probably the most shittiest people, and sometimes you are somehow even more alone even though you are dating them. Like you will be like in a room with them and you will somehow still feel alone, and that they're not even there because they are such a terrible being. Like it's one of those things where you just need to start accepting that you need to do things alone. You need to get used to not being like so scared of being alone or being perceived by others that you're alone, and it will honestly do you such wonders. It is insane. Like the person in front of me also didn't park very well. Oopsies. But I don't know, I feel like there is such social like pressure and just like such a construct over like the fear of being alone that it's just kind of ruining everything. Like it's fun to do things by yourself, I promise. My favorite thing is going to the cinema by myself. You know why? Because, you know what's also worse? Sorry, I had to butt in. The fact that people can see me, and I don't have tinted windows like half of like Australia has, because I'm too poor for tinted windows, and my car is also really old, and it's nearly 400,000 kilometers, so I don't want to like waste money to fix up a car that's probably gonna like collapse in the next like 2 years. Like, but it's like a fishbowl. Like everyone can see me. And like it gets really hot as well. Like I feel like a roast chook in an oven at the moment. Like I'm just cooking from the inside out because of how hot it is. But anyway, I can't even remember what I was talking about, what my sentence was. I just cut in on myself and I can't even remember what I was going to say. That's the worst bit. But talking about loneliness. Yes. Okay, one of my favorite things. Oh my god, my thing's going off again. I'm going to have to pause soon. One of my favorite things to do by myself is literally going to the cinema. It is the greatest. I can go to the movie that I personally want to see. I don't have to like think about if another person wants to also watch it. It can be the most like weirdest movie that I want to see, and I know that mostly all my friends will want to see it, but I will. And so I can go by myself. I can sit wherever the hell I want. I can literally just watch the movie, invest all of my energy into it, instead of like investing and like looking over and seeing if my friend, you know, likes it. Be like, oh, like, do you like it? Or they start talking to me and I have to take my attention away from the movie. And they always talk at the most interesting part too. So like I sometimes like can't even pay attention. And the best thing of doing it alone is when I have to like look at other people's reactions, I can just enjoy it and I can be fully like in my element just watching a movie, and I don't have to like focus on two things like what my friend is saying and also trying to pay attention to the most interesting part of the movie, because somehow you guys always talk the most interesting part when somehow like I turn to you and I don't even hear the movie. It sort of like cut out once again as usual because it's too hot apparently to be sitting in the sun, my camera. And I literally, you should have seen me, I literally had to put my camera in front of like the aircon here just to like cool it off. It was like, it was embarrassing. Let's listen to music though, I want to vibe. Wait, what's a good song? The news of who likes me and who hates me. Wait, that's not the right song, lyrics. That was enough vibes for me to get over the fact that I had literally a whole person staring at me. But, I don't know, I feel like we need to like get over like the social pressure of like the anxiety of being alone and being perceived alone. Like, I feel like a lot of times you are perceived as a loser if you are by yourself, and you see that stereotype a lot in like media as well, where it's like, this loner guy has no friends and you know he's just such a weirdo, and then like the popular girl becomes friends with him or some shit, I don't know. It's just always such a weird like media that they end up throwing up, which is kind of insane, and I think it's rather like it doesn't help. I guess the negative position that having no friends like does to you. And I feel like we're always like valuing people based on how many friends they have. If they're popular, I should probably go hang out with them. If they have a lot of friends, they're probably a good person, you know. Or if they have no friends, there must be a reason why they have no friends. Like, they're probably not a good person to be around. Sometimes people just don't have friends because people are weird, or the people in their local community are weird, you know. Like, I had no friends at some point because I felt like the school that I went to was very niche driven and very like cliquey, and didn't want to add or like have people, like new people in. And I felt like that with every group. Like, I could not fit in, and it bothered me because I just wanted a friend and I wanted to be by myself, but I couldn't seem to connect with anyone at that school, and it was rather upsetting, you know. And that's the thing I hate with like Australia. I feel like a lot of people in Australia can also agree, like, it's very hard to make friends in Australia outside of high school. Like, it's incredibly difficult unless you join some sort of like activity or group, and even then it's pretty hard because everyone is pretty cliquey, you know. And like I've seen it on like subreddits like Reddit and like just like Facebook and stuff like that, where people are saying it as like they move to Australia, it's very hard for them to make friends. It is. People are really, really hard in terms of friendship here in Australia, which is terrible, because it's like, I just want to go out, I want to make a friend on a random street, I want to like talk to them and then become besties with someone. But I feel like that is so hard. Like, I feel like it's so much easier in other parts of the world. I can't really confirm it because I've only ever lived in Australia, but like I see the American high schools, I see that they have like a whole ass football, like is that even football? Is it rugby? I don't know. They have some sort of like sports events in high school, and they have like these big like football ovals, and it's like, why don't we do something like that? We don't. I get very like American envy, you know? Like, the day that I'm able to go to America, book a hotel, and start like imagining the American dream for like 10 seconds is like the day it's over for everyone, because I feel like I'll just come back to Australia and just like be sad, but at the same time it's like I also don't want to live in America. Like, I feel like it's too stressful. Like, props to you guys, you know, with everything in America. I just can't. It's just too stressful. Like, I like going down the street and not worrying about whether or not someone has a gun, you know? And like, I don't know, I just can't, you know? And my thing's heating up again. Okay, so my computer ended up crashing, and obviously I didn't film an outro, and it's been a week. So this is the end of the podcast. Sorry, it's like 4 a.m. I didn't get any sleep. I worked like 12 hours yesterday, so I look like shit. But if you liked the video, do like and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next episode.